So now, ladies and gentlemen, live and in colour, it's Mr. Wayne Lovejuice.
The other day I produced a Louis, had a chat with an interesting chappie who said that the YouTube algorithm really aren't that happy. If a channel only broadcasts once a week, so we've decided we can text ya whenever we've got a piece of news in our new book On The Track Xtra. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we've got two old friends come to visit us in the studio today. It's Cara and it's Ralph the Monster. What are you here to do today, Cara and Ralph the Monster?
So Ralph, what's coming up? Book review.
Anybody who's ever known Richard Freeman and me would probably be able to attest that one of the things we've got most in common, apart from a stupid sense of humour and a taste for cryptozoology, is that we are both intense bibliophiles, and wherever we go there are always piles of books. I have a library upstairs, a whole room with my books in, and that only contains about a quarter of my collection. But whenever Richard comes to visit, he always makes a beeline for the library and comes down with some books to review. So, Richard, what have we got next?
George M. Eberhart's Mysterious Creatures, A Guide to Cryptozoology. A 2-volume set, an encyclopedia of cryptids, and goodness me, the work that went into this book is phenomenal. We must give a shout out to Eberhart here because he really put a lot of work and research into what is a superb 2-volume set. Now, it goes A to Z and it contains all the cryptids you know about and incredibly obscure ones that you've never heard of from all over the world. And for each creature there will be an etymology of where the name comes from, what language, whereabouts it's seen, its physical description, its behaviour, and then some classic sightings, and then a little discussion of what it could be and the various theories about what the animal in question should be. And of course these entries will vary in size because some things are very obscure and there's very little information on them. Other things like the Tasmanian wolf or the Yeti or the Loch Ness monster get larger entries because we have more information on them. It also includes legendary creatures from folklore and so forth that may have some sort of basis in flesh and blood animals. It's an absolutely awesome work. The only downside was that it was immensely expensive. When it first came out in hardback, it was immensely expensive. But George Eberhart gave the CFZ permission to reprint it when it went out of print, so we reprinted a softback version which was much more affordable and slightly updated as well.
I was always quite offended that the book cost over £130 to buy for the 2-volume set. So I took a leaf out of the playbook of the old anarcho-punk bands that I used to follow back in the day, back in the early 1980s, and they always put out a single, and it said, pay no more than 49 pence. So on the back of ours, I've said, pay no more than £14.99. And we put out the 2-volume set at 30 quid, rather than 128 quid, which I think is much more reasonable. But I agree with Richard, it's a magnificent work of scholarship. I wish somehow one could take these 2 books and the Guide to Cryptozoology, Dictionary of Cryptozoology that Ronan Coghlan wrote, and the big book of cryptozoology that Michael Newton, God rest his soul, wrote, and put them all together so you'd end up having the ultimate dictionary of cryptozoology, plus adding in little bits that Richard and I have found out over the years. But until that happens, I think that the Eberhart 2-volume is an absolutely magnificent work of scholarship, and really for this generation it is the ultimate reference book for both places and animals, because you can search by the places that these things are found as well as what the things are. And for example, there was a possibility some years ago that we were going to go to Trinidad, and I remember one of the first things I said to Richard, do me a favour mate, look in Eberhart and see what is there in Trinidad. And he found out what there was in Trinidad. And I'm sure that other cryptozoologists around the world use this book as a Bible, if you like, of cryptozoology, because it is the best reference book that one could possibly have.
But if you're going to buy this, I suggest you buy the CFZ version. It's a hell of a lot cheaper and it's got more information in it.
And we don't usually put in shameless plugs for our own books in the book reviews here, and that's why we don't usually review our own books. But I think we might have to start at some point, because we've done quite a lot of publishing of stuff that nobody else would have touched with a barge pole. So I think it's something we might try and do. That's about it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll be back on Saturday, and there's all sorts of exciting things happening on Saturday. What are they, I hear you ask? Well, I don't know yet. I haven't filmed it. But I will see you on Saturday, and I'll see you again next Wednesday. So if you're there watching it, and I'm there doing all the stuff I'm supposed to do, except when I get it wrong, and doing the live chat, etc., etc., I'll be seeing you.